Hi, am I connected? My God, this is. Hi.
UNDP for school students from Meghalaya. I'm sorry, I think Ma'am Bari is back again.
Go ahead,
You
Shrita,
can
just go.
continue. Okay, the awareness campaign is for the students from Meghalaya who are now, who portion of whom have started going back to school, and we wanted to create an awareness campaign on how to.
Especially students, because according to me, our education has been compromised, and because although we lived in a very advanced era, not everyone has access to the internet or can afford to buy laptops or even for that matter smartphones. So I think on our end, though they do help us a lot, it's still very difficult for us to get learned very effectively. Obviously, cannot classroom teaching more effective than online classes. So in Meghalaya, students, so following social distancing and sanitizing is not a very difficult issue, because we have in science we have about 60 students and a very big classroom. But in other schools where most of my friends go, they have a lot of students, and the classrooms, although they are big, they're not big enough for students to sit uh, apart. So that I think that is an issue, because obviously many students, they do want to come to school, and some who stay in the local, for that is another one big problem. They usually, students who come who use the buses or taxis, they obviously they'll have the fear, because recently 5 days ago it was reported in Andhra Pradesh that 27 students tested positive for COVID-19. But then the education ministry, the officials, they claim that they got the virus elsewhere because in schools the precautions were taken. So I think the parents and even the mental health well-being of the students should be taken into account. And so online classes, even teachers have not been trained to take online classes, and many students face network problems. Even right now we face a lot of network problems. So I think that when schools do reopen, or when they start reopening, the government should give schools very strict guidelines that they have to follow. And yeah, that's about it. Thank you.
Thank you, Chelsea. That was really nice, and I think you're right. Not all of us have the opportunity to uh, get access to online education. So it is important that we go back to school, but it is also important that we remain safe and we practice all the precautions that have been uh, told to us. So that was great. Thank you. And I think Ma'am Vora is back now. So can we start with you, Ma'am Miss Vora Karkungar? Ma'am, can you hear me?
Hello,
Hello.
Shritapa. Hello,
Yes.
Shritapa, can you hear me? This is Bari.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So since I think Ms. Wara is still having a problem with her internet, what I can do is I can introduce Dida to. She has been practicing her as a psychiatrist in Sun Care for quite some time now. She completed her MD from Kolkata Medical College, and her field. Hello. Hello.
Yes. Yes, ma'am. Please continue.
Hello,
Yes,
Dr.
ma'am,
Dida.
you're audible. Please continue.
Yes, yes, yes. Dr. Dida here.
Yes, Dr. Dida, can you please introduce yourself since my internet is really bad?
All right. So, afternoon, everyone. I'm Dr. Dida Thongla and currently a psychiatrist here in Sun Care. And would like to touch up a little about the psychological effects of COVID-19 on school children. Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Yes, ma'am, you're
All right. So I would like to highlight that initially, as the lockdown just started, our initial reaction was school going to things started to change, and now we see students confined to their homes and without any physical contact with friends or with their mentors and teachers. And so, now, again, as we see, as the time the lockdown again extended, there is now a sense of anxiety that has gripped the students because there is a fear of the uncertainty. What is going to happen next? When is a school going to reopen? What do we do when we go back to school? And so there are certain behavioral changes that manifest in school children, such as some of them can display emotions of anger, irritability. Some of them become very clingy and dependent on their parents, and some of them will go into isolation to the extent where the sleeping behaviors, eating habits change, and so this takes a toll on the mental well-being of our students. But one very important issue I would like to touch on is that although online classes are very beneficial for our students, but also it comes with a negative aspect, because we see more of our students increasing their activities online. And so now content online is also objectionable, because they are vulnerable to misinformation, and sometimes getting bullied online, and also abuse. So these are some of the alarming effects that can happen to children during the lockdown. Back to you, Bari.
Hello. I think I am getting a good network now. What have I missed out on?
Well, I was trying to explain about the psychological impact that the school children were experiencing during the lockdown.
Mm-hmm.
How the emotions had initially changed from excitement and happiness because they were not attending school, and then later on they started becoming anxious because there is a fear of uncertainty, what's going to happen next. Then there is feelings of anger, frustration, and there is an increased time spent online, where children are vulnerable in getting misinformation, and they can even get abused online and getting bullied online. So these all have a negative impact on the mental well-being of our students due to the lockdown.
Yes, so I believe that what Dr. Dita is saying is very true, and I believe most of the students who are also participating here must be facing the same issues. And if do any one of you who are participating would like to speak, like to ask Dr. Dita any questions, or you want to ask her if you have any kind of problems that you want to share with her, I'm giving you guys time to go ahead and communicate with Dr. Dida.
I think they can put their questions forward in the chat box, and we can do a question answer round towards the end. Can we do that?
Yeah, that can also be done. Dida, I can go ahead.
All right. So now I have just spoken about the effects of the lockdown. Now, what happened post-lockdown? We are now in a stage where we are starting to open up economies, starting to open transportation, schools. There are certain things we have to keep in mind post-lockdown regarding school children. First and foremost, some of our students must have faced loss and bereavement. Maybe one of the family has passed away due to the COVID, or maybe their relative is in hospital now being treated for COVID. And so this form of loss and bereavement takes a toll on them. And these are certain issues that we have to address as the children come back to school. Now, one very important thing is that due to the lockdown, a lot of children were confined to the homes, and not all children have a very happy home, I would say. Some of them must have been experiencing challenging experiences at home, where there could have been some abuse, domestic violence. There could have been some form of family conflict going on. So this negatively affects them. So now post lockdown, when they come back to school, they their mental well-being is going to change. And now they are faced with uncertainty, and they are unclear when they reach school what is next. The newspaper is telling us we can go to school, social media is saying something else. So there's a lack of confidence now on adults. Now remember, in any pandemic, in any epidemic, or in any situation as such, this itself is a factor where you increase the potential for bullying and racism and discrimination. So if a student has been quarantined at home and somebody had been with the virus, now he goes back to school and other friends know about it, the other children can isolate him or her, and this can be devastating for such a child. So these are the issues post-lockdown which we should look into.
Yes, Dita, is there anything more you would like to add in your session?
I would just like to say that now I have highlighted what the issues could be post-lockdown, what the children would have experienced by the time they come back to school. So what I would like to add is, what can teachers do, what can parents do, and what can the children do in such a situation? So, teachers can go back to school and, as part of the education system, they can educate the students again about the COVID-19 in a language that is as per the maturity level of the students, and following standard guidelines about the illness, so that the children can have some form of confidence in the school system and the teachers. Next is, teachers have a role to play, a big role in promoting mental health to improve the well-being of the children. We can go for simple techniques like relaxation exercises, muscle relaxation, deep breathing. If the children are very anxious and they feel they cannot cope with what's going on post the lockdown, teachers are the gateway. I'll tell you, they are the doorway for identifying negative emotions and also referring them to specialized mental health professionals. And as for parents, what they can do is they can decrease the screen time of children, and also as the children are online, they can supervise them. And last but not the least, learn the hygiene practices as you are being taught, and maintain social distances. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Dita, for your for your presentation and for explaining, telling us about what actually the students are facing and what they should do and what they shouldn't and what are they facing. Thank you so much for your time. Now we will go next to Miss. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Hello, yes.
Yes.
Yes. Now I will introduce another speaker, which is Madam Zinat Ali, who is the principal of Stonyland Secondary School, and she is also the director of Dwar Jinkerman School, a school which is for children in need. Hello.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes, Miss Ali.
I can't hear everyone very well. As you know, I'm very old and it may be difficult for the other young speakers. I was very impressed hearing everybody. Well, I'll just speak a very little bit. As I have been introduced as the director of Dwar Jinkerman, and as you may have heard, that Dwar Jinkerman is a school for children in need of special education. We also look after young adults. And later on, as an extension service, we started Stonyland School as a primary section. And now we are adding on the secondary section to it with the purpose of inclusion. And I'm sure all of you know what inclusion is, that we need to have a mainstream school or peer group where one or two special children with special needs will be added. Because as you know, Dwar Jinkerman is fully a special school catering only to special children. So that's the reason why we started Stonyland. And now just to let you know that I think your topic is preparedness when schools reopen. Well, I'll be listening to the speakers. They are very, very well equipped. I'm just going to say a little bit from my point of view and my work in our school. Are you listening? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes,
Hello?
ma'am, you're audible.
Yes.
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
because these teachers are trying to help me, thinking that you can't hear me. So anyway, when the lockdown was first, brought in, then I was I was very apprehensive in the fact that I really didn't even realize what was happening. So that day we closed school, and later on I found out from many of my colleagues and other teachers that most of the schools had, were smart enough to have given the children their books, to textbooks and exercise books, and so that, the assignments could be given. But I think I didn't even realize that. And we didn't give any books to the kids. And then, when the lockdown was total lockdown, it was just so surprising that, and I just took it to be that it'll just be for a while, not thinking that really what pandemics are, that it is all a long drawn affair and it carries on for a very long time. But then we requested the parents that whatever books they have, we'll, carry on giving assessments. So we started on the 23rd or 24th of March to give the assessments and assignments, sorry. And ask the kids to do it on pieces of paper or whatever the parents could muster up. Then as the lockdown, the little relaxation took place, then what we did was that we sent the textbooks to the teachers because they hadn't taken the books as well. So we sent the textbooks with the school driver, to deliver it in their homes so that at least the assignments could be, relevant and proper. So that's how we started. And then we watched some schools, I've been watching assignments given by various schools, Loreto and St. Anthony's and a few other big schools, as well as friends from smaller schools. We are a very small school ourselves. And took a lot of hints and tips on what to do online and how, videos are presented and video calls are made. I'm very old and absolutely not technology friendly. That's why I was having a lot of difficulty now. And so then we learned a lot from everyone around us. And now I think that the caliber of work seems to have been going up day by day, and the teachers are getting more and more equipped in dealing with everything. So as I heard earlier, a lot of our children also, they come from different backgrounds. So some were not able to take on the technology that was offered. So those children are suffering a little, and they are not cooperating at all because I think they're finding it very difficult. They borrow phones from people to do their work. And sometimes, like, we're having some online tests now. So many of the children are not able to do it at the time given because they have to borrow phones from neighbors. And some are, of course, absolutely fine with their work that is carrying on. Now that you ask whether, to tell you that I just try to express that when the lockdown was announced, I was totally unprepared. And now I feel that over the months that this has been going on, and we have been trying to do our work as best as possible. But I do believe that it is hard. It is very hard for the children, for the parents, families to cope with what is happening. And I just do hope and pray that things will improve and at least we can have some interactive sessions so that, like I heard another young speaker saying, it is so important for us to have to have a face-to-face interaction with kids. If children are suffering, I've noticed with my own little grandchildren and other students from the school of the difficulties that they face and the problems they are causing because they just want to watch TV and there's no proper outlet, no games, no nothing. So it's very, very hard for children. So as you say, whether we are going to be prepared when school reopens, I think every school will have to take its own little calling. Ours is a very, very small school. Dwar Increment has about 65 students, which is all special needs children. And Stonyland School has 104, out of which we have 12 special needs children whom we are trying to see if we can, let them fit into mainstream. And like some of them, of course, our socializing is also taking a bit of a toll on them. So we try our very best to see if they can fit into the fold. And are you finished? Okay. Oh, you can speak. Okay. All right. Now I hope I'm not carrying on for too long. And
No,
so now we hope that when school reopens, we will, now that the government has given some stipulations for us, that we can do some work with students. So what we are planning to do is that we will call in a few students at a time to get a knowledge of their difficulties. And the teachers have just come to me to say that they would be very happy to do some little bit of work with maybe 2-3 children at a time. And us being a very small school, the possibilities are there. But yet we are also very cautious and also very afraid as to should anything happen. Because now we hear that the cases are rising and parents may not feel comfortable to send the students. But however, we will try our best to see what we can do. And for our special needs school, the Dwarjin Kriben, there is a lot of issues because when you take care of special needs children, it's a lot of handling is required. If they physically have challenges, then we need to handle them physically. And if they're hyperactive or they're autistic, they have other issues that if the child is to run around the place, we need to restrain them. So a lot of handling is required. So as of now, we have decided that we will just carry on giving assessments. It's a very, very hard task for parents because they are having to do all the work. But we have requested them, and many parents are being very cooperative, and many are unable to do so because of the work that they have. But however, we may have to work this way till next year. Maybe when March reopens, when school reopens in March, we will think over carefully and see as to what we can do at that point of time. But I feel we are prepared in the sense that we will definitely be willing. I'm not sure whether parents will be willing to let the children come into school, but 2-3 at a time, we would like to work with them maybe once or twice a week for maybe 2 hours to see that we meet their difficulties. And many of them cannot take tuitions and they have difficulties with finance, so we have to consider all angles. But I think we will, as a small school, we feel that we will be able to work, but it will all depend on the government stipulations, because no matter what happens, we will have to follow the norms given by the government, because that will be the safe line for all of us. So thank you so much. I'm so happy to hear you young people, so knowledgeable and so able. Thank you.
Hello.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, Shitafa, go ahead.
Hello.
Hello.
Thank you.
Hi. Hello. Am I audible?
Yes, Auntie Bari.
Okay. Thank you so much, Madam Ali, for your short presentation on what you feel about this situation for the students to return back to school and what your students are facing and experiencing during the COVID and as well as when the school reopened. Now we will go to another resource person. He is the youngest from the speaker today. His name is Ashton. He's from St. Edmunds. He's in class 6. So Ashton, if you can go ahead and speak about what you feel, you're going back to school and how your experience while during this COVID situation for the 6 months you've been at home. So can you just share a little bit about your experience to all of us?
Okay, first of all, I would like to wish a very good afternoon to all the viewers and the speakers. So, COVID-19 is an infectious disease caused by a newly discovered coronavirus, and it has reached Meghalaya last 6 months ago, and school has stopped from the 6 months ago. So I've been staying at home for a very long time, and we've had so many assignments, and my sister also is from Stony land. She's having exams also, and uh
Go ahead, Ashton. What do you feel about you going back to school? Are you prepared?
no, I'm not prepared because it's having a lot of what was
You
it's
feel
not safe. It's not safe to go yet to school because there's a lot of cases in Meghalaya also, and it's spreading. It's going to spread faster and faster if we go to school. The virus going to spread faster and faster. So that's all I have to say.
yeah, Ashton. So during your time you were at home,
So much, lovely little girl.
when you're at home, what were you experiencing? Were you missing school? A little bit on that, if you can.
Yes, I'm missing school a lot. I'm missing my friends also and all.
What do you usually do during your time at home?
I practice the piano, and I go play cycle outside also alone, play football alone, social distancing. Uh, but I've spent most of my time in my computer and my smartphone because it's really addicting.
Hello? Yes, Ashton.
Hello? I can't
Hello?
hear you.
Hello? Ashton, are you still there?
I can't hear.
Okay, so okay, Ashton, thank you so much for your sharing with us your experience and what you feel about rejoining back school. Now we will go next to our next speaker. Her name is Christine Dakhar. She's in class 12 of BK Bajoria School. Christine, are you there? Yeah. So Christine, can you go ahead and share, and give a little presentation on what you feel about the reopening of school during COVID?
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Christine Dakhar. So all I have to say is going back to school will likely look a little different from what we, as students, were used to before the pandemic. Online classes are difficult for both students and teachers, but it is the safer option since outbreaks are inevitable. First and foremost is safety. Children are likely to be experiencing worry, anxiety, and fear, such as fear of getting infected, or fear of infecting relatives, or fear of what it means to receive medical treatment. The COVID-19 fundamentals in India are very weak at the moment. Returning to classrooms is important as for learning, but going back to classrooms is going to put the students, the teachers, and their respective family at risk. Reopening schools, by reopening schools, the amount of people exposed to COVID-19 grows relatively high. Some are more likely to get very ill from COVID-19. This includes people with health problems such as asthma, diabetes, or a weak immune system. Since there is rapid increase in the number of cases, I personally do not think it is wise to open schools as yet.
Hello, Christine, is that all?
Yes, ma'am. That's all I have to say.
Okay. Thank you so much, Christine, for sharing sharing about what you feel. I will go next to Laya Hun she's a student from Pine Mount School. Hello. Hello.
Ma'am, can I start?
Hello.
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. I am Lai Langin Dingdor from Pine Mount School. I'm in class 11 and I'm taking science. So in the current situation, as we can all see that COVID-19, it does not seem to end. And with the number of cases rising each and every single day, and this had caused the shutdown of schools and colleges all around the world. So, and most of the schools have already started with the online classes, but it seemed as though the privileged ones are being able to attend these online classes because they do have the devices. They are being able to procure the devices for attending these classes, whereas some students who are underprivileged are unable to do so. So it is causing a problem. Well, if schools were to reopen, I think the infrastructure of the schools might change because, for example, a classroom which is supposed to accommodate around 40 students will now be able to accommodate only 15 to 16 students because social distancing needs to be practiced by the teachers and by the students alike. And another problem is also for the students and the teachers who are in the containment zones. If the schools were to reopen, they might not be able to attend the classes in school. They might not be able to come to school, which is why I think it might be a problem when school reopens for them. And the thing that the students, the teachers, and the school authorities can follow is they need to follow the protocols, and we need to take precautions. We need to strictly follow the protocols in order to keep ourselves safe, as well as the others. And we, the students, we really need to boost our immunity. We need to take care of our health. So the only thing that we can do is to follow the protocols, wear masks, sanitize yourselves, and in order to keep yourself as well as the others around you safe. Yes, that is all I have to say, I think. Thank you.
Hello. Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, thank you so much, Laya Langlin Dingdor, for your presentation and for telling us about what you feel about the COVID situation. I will. I'm so sorry I did not hear most of what you said because of the issue I'm facing. Anyway, next I would like to introduce Miss Wara Karkangor. She is a biological teacher from Pine Mount Higher Secondary School. She's been teaching since the inception of higher secondary school in Pine Mount, which is from the year 2013. She loved to travel, and she enjoyed traveling to Ladakh, where she also sponsored children for education in a village, in villages in Zanskar. she also loved to work with farmers and also like to help them to promote their work and help them to sell their products. And she has been awarded this year on Teachers Day as well, by the IM Guwahati. So Miss Wara, I would like you to share your feelings about this situation of the students, whether they are ready to go back, or what is your your a little bit from you as a teacher. What do you feel would be is this returning back to school would be a good thing for the students, or you can share your opinion. I hand it over to you.
Okay. Thank you, Barry. Thank you so much. It's like in and out of a popping bluebird. You know, the internet is as such, it is so erratic. And this is exactly the ground situation that we face every day when we try to conduct online classes. So there's nothing more needed to say. We are experiencing that. And imagine on the other hand, the students, if they have to imbibe the facts that we want to present, it'll be so very difficult because it comes in fragments. Okay, of course we do acknowledge, and we acknowledge the announcement by the government on the phased reopening of schools. We as teachers are committed to support to support it. We commend the government's bold yet necessary stand on the reopening of schools. Yes, I would really emphasize on the word bold, because are we really prepared, and are we so bold enough as to announce the phase opening of these schools? Let us just be real. Let us be real. To be, to have an idealistic expectation is one thing, but what are we facing at ground zero? Now, many would like to turn a blind eye and a deaf ear to, to such realities, because we live in a world that is not real anymore. Okay. Now, but one must ensure that the educational health does not come at the expense of public health. So is the educational health so very important to promote what? To get degrees. To get degrees for what? When your knowledge is not as per your degree. Now, I am really disappointed with this disparity between sometimes, the degrees, one achieves, and the actual
Hello? 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 Miss, hello, Miss Wara.
network is very erratic. Hello?
Yes,
Can you
yes, we
hear me
can hear
now?
you now. Yes.
You can hear me now. I'm very sorry, but this is the reality, of trying to communicate, online. This is what we face. Okay, so and while supporting, technically as teachers, we have to support the reopening of schools. But I remain firmly rooted, okay, in calling for the government to assure that all schools, I repeat, all schools fully satisfy and comply with the SOP for safe reopening. I personally feel that the
Hello, Kongwara, we're not, able to hear you. Hello? 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 Hello?
Hello. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, Konwara, now we can
Hello.
hear you.
You can hear me. This is erratic as how much it can get, okay. Now, so here, we must be fully prepared for that, because here we have to bear in mind that it is a government's calling and it includes both the urban as well as the rural schools. Now, it takes only one student from one particular school to help spread the pandemic. Okay. Now, I am also very concerned about the shortage of personal protective equipment. Now, when the government asks us to reopen schools, are the schools equipped with personal protective equipment? If not, if a child is infected, who is to blame? Now, the shortage of appropriate infrastructure and furniture to allow proper social distancing also exists. Sometimes we have a bench that is being shared by 3 or 4 students. I'm talking about, a cross section of schools, not just the privileged, elite, rich schools. Okay, so in a bench, the students, are packed in one bench. 4 of them also sit. So that will not promote social distancing, and it is not their fault.
I guess again, Miss Wara, her internet is down. We're not able to hear her. Hello? Hello?
Hello. Yes. Yes. Can we request all participants to leave any questions if you have? If you have any questions, sorry, in the chat box, please. Can you please leave your questions in the chat box and we'll put it forward to our resource persons. Thank you.
Hello, I'm back again. Hello.
Yes, Gauri.
This is madness. Okay, this is what we face every day. This is what we face every day. Now, so let me just continue with what I was saying. Is that my concern also goes for the learners with disabilities. Now, when I say disabilities, now that is a broad spectrum word. It also includes financial disability. Now, they may not, some of them even sell their plot of lands to buy a smartphone for their child. And on top of that, the network, they don't get the network. So what a waste for the parents, okay? Now, these underprivileged learners, okay, have not been able to access any lessons, okay, since March, when, since the school closed. Yet, they have to sit for the same examinations. Is that fair? Now, I am even more worried that the remaining time to prepare the students for examination is too short, okay, and it will promote drilling of learners for the examination purpose only, rather than learning for establishing rooted knowledge. Now, most of the students, when I asked them, because some of them are at home also, I said, do you understand this problem? They said, no, we don't, but we just copied from YouTube. We just copied. We don't know what is happening. Now, is that real knowledge? Is that the purpose of education? Is that the purpose of schools just to give some marks, just to grade some students without them having any proper knowledge. Now, I'm really very worried about our future citizens. Now, with these, when they do not have established basic concepts, now how will they go into their professional career? Now, that is really, really like building a house on shifting sands, or like building a house made out of a pack of cards. When it crumbles, who who are the casualties? Who are the casualties when it crumbles? The society, the whole of society as a whole. And who is to blame? Forced education, forced marks systems. Okay. Now, another thing that also worries me a lot is about the teachers' welfare or the educators' welfare. Now, that is not to be ignored, because many outstation teachers may not be able to go back to their respective schools. Now, and if they go back to their respective schools, now will they be protected? Now, they have, the protocols, the SOPs, to look after their health and their welfare. Now, that is also one of it. Now, I've got so many apprehensions. I am not to list all because I know that I cannot eat everybody's time. Okay. Now, so a few suggestions would be like a need for a sectorial approach, of the community. Okay, and engagement of all the stakeholders like the parents, the teachers, the authorities, the sanitation workers, the transport agencies, etc., etc. And also the capacitation of teachers with information is how to handle the COVID cases. And here we are not professionals. We don't really know. We only, we can only deduce from what we hear. We did not have any proper specific training. So that is very important, to give training to the teachers as to how to handle the cases as soon as they are detected in schools. Okay, and deliberate awareness of all the learners about preventive measures and implementing them to learn and adjust to this new normal is also mandatory before full-fledged classes starts. When we do not prepare the grounds, how can we expect them to to learn? That's really they cannot be made sacrificial goats, okay, for our negligence. Now, another thing is that we need more learning time. I really don't know why we want to go forward with more information, packing the students with new information. Now, I would have preferred that, last year's lesson, let them be thorough with last year's lesson and only a few topics for this year and examine them on that. Now, whatever is to be learned this year, now they will learn, the coming years. Where are we rushing to our, only to our graves? But as we walk, ahead, let us be sure of each step and not just, run like on cloud nine. Okay. Now, of course, I'm also very concerned about equitable education for all, because as of now, only about 2 to 5% would be getting constant education with that privilege. Others, no. And we just cannot pretend to be blind to all their problems. Okay. Now, of course, like the ground instruction is not, does not always translate to successful online instruction, because we facilitators are not properly trained, on the online program, and knowledge will be compromised. I'm so worried about compromised knowledge, because that will have a bearing on society in just 5 years time from now, and we are going to have pseudo doctors, pseudo engineers. Okay, so I am really very worried about the present scenario. I do sound very pessimistic, okay? But let me just end with Winston Churchill's statement. He says, never let a good crisis go to waste. With that note, I end. Thank you.
Hello. Yes. Hello. Yes, thank you so
Yes.
much, Ms. Wara, for sharing with us and the problems that you think that will occur if students are going back to school, the different protocol that that has to be followed, and how much that can come into effect. And also, I totally agree with you that uh, every one of us is not prepared to go online. Like you see today, there's so much of issues that we are facing. Just to host this meeting, I believe students will face a lot of problem as well, both the one who are in Shillong itself, and also the one who are living outskirt of Shillong. So we have a lot of issues, and I don't know how we're going to be able uh, to start this new normal, like, you know, to go to back to school and follow all the protocols that has been given to us. And how much is going to help, and how can children follow all these social distancing and washing the hands, all the different steps that has to be taken, and the reaction from each students if there is any kind of a case in the school, whether schools are even prepared to take that forward. If there's any cases, how they will handle. These are certain things that we all still have to, you know, have to see. And hopefully that we won't reach a stage where, like other like one of our speakers said, one of the students said that there is a case where students was detected with COVID, and there was a lot of stigma that she faced. uh, in this regard, I hope like this new normal in which students will return back. I mean, each student will have their own difficulty in going back to school and facing different difficulties. Definitely there will be with their lessons, and how a few students can come in to school and few may not be able to do so. And the online teaching also is very difficult for most of the students with the internet issues that we face now and then. There is one person in the who is participating, would like to speak. Shanmu, I think his name is Shanmu Gapriya. If you can go ahead and share what you wanted to ask or you wanted to say. Hello? Hello? Shanmu? I believe that's, hello? I guess he's also having a problem with the internet. Is there anybody who would like to ask any questions or would like to share anything? We are open to that. Any students would like to add to what your teachers are saying, or you would like to say anything? Hello? Anyone? Where is Shanmugi Priya? You wanted to speak, right? Where are you? Hello? I don't know where he is. so, so any question which any student would like to raise to the resource person? Nobody? Hello? Hello? Hello, Shritapa, can you take over? My internet is fluctuating again.
Hello. Yes, I can. Is there would anyone like to ask a question to our resource persons, or maybe to your fellows, to the students, your friends? Would you like to ask anything to them?
Hello. So I believe
Hello. Hello. Miss Barry.
Hello.
Hello, Ms. Barry. Yes, Ms. Barry.
Yes, so as I was saying that I was not able to speak in the first, like to welcome every one of you, the resource person, the students. I'll just go, I mean, I can just give a little brief about what Impulse NGO does and what we, how we work. So we are a 26-year-old organization that been working with working with human trafficking. We have a lot of partners. We believe in partnering with different stakeholders, because as you know, trafficking is not is a vast and very complex issue. So we believe that partnership is one of our main strength to help the survivors to be able to recover. We um, we follow the 6 Ps and the 6 Rs. We work in all the 8 northeastern states as well as national and international. So Impulse NGO Network, we work passionately and relentlessly to reduce human trafficking, exploitation by empowering, engaging, and expanding our networking or through partners by using the 6 Ps and the 6 Rs, which is globally acknowledged. This is through our Impulse model. So what we do is we help victims from the time they are being trafficked, being missing, till the time they are repatriated back to the family. So today's program, we are actually collaborating with the UNDP since the situation of COVID is taking place, and it's very there are a lot of things that has happened, and after this COVID situation, there will be a lot of trafficking that can take place as well. So if you guys want to know more about us, you can always go to our website, which is www.impulsengonetwork.org. If you need any kind of help or anything during this period of COVID, you want to speak to a counselor or you want to speak to anybody, students, you're always welcome to approach us. We will definitely arrange for a counselor or anybody you would want to speak to. Always feel free to reach out for us at any time. And Shitapa, can you go ahead with the last portion by, hello?
Yes, yes, I'm here.
Shitapa, can you hear me?
Hello? Yes,
Yes.
am I audible?
Yes, you are.
All right, I think that was a very insightful session and interactive as well. We did learn a lot, and I think we revised a lot of things that we already knew. But as a lot of our speakers mentioned, online education is very difficult. I think we can see it now. A lot of our speakers are losing connectivity. We are losing connectivity, and it's not always possible to take this as an option, to take online education as an option. It's not feasible for everyone. So there is a point when we do have to go back to school, and some of us are already going back to school, I believe. And the question, I think, even though we got a lot of answers today about how should we go about it when we do go back to school, I think we also have a lot of questions about, are we actually prepared to go back to school? Do we have the right equipments with us, or are we well informed? Are we informed enough to go back to school is the question. And will the new normal, as we call it, will that remain with us for a long time, or will we actually be able to go back to the old times when things weren't so bad and we weren't under a pandemic? So I think uh, hopefully we've learned a lot today. We've been able to understand what are the things that we have to do or need to do when we head back to school. And I request all students, all other participants who are present with us today, to kindly share whatever you've learned or whatever you've shared with us, with your friends, with your classmates. And I believe we will be able to go back to school, and we will be able to go back to school safe, and there wouldn't be a rise in cases when we do go back to school. And also, as a part of the campaign, we have been running a few contests on poetry, art, and also video contest, and it's for school students from Meghalaya. So I'd request all of you participants who are students, I would request you to please head over to our official Facebook page, which is Impulse NGO Network, or to our Instagram, Impulse NGO Network. And you will find all the information with regards to the contest that we have been running. And I would request all of you to be to take part in the competitions, and we look forward to connecting with you again. And if there's anything else that anyone would like to add, you're welcome to add anything to the session. If not, I think we can end the session now.
I would like to add something more.
Yes, ma'am.
Hello.
Please. Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
I would
Please
like
go
to
ahead.
add something more, you know, about precautions other than the face masks and social distancing, etc., etc. Now it's about the schools establishing an entry and an exit point. Oh, my dog. An entry and an exit point, because so there will be a no two ways. Please, my dogs. I'm so sorry. Okay. No, there would be an entry and an exit point. Okay, now so that they will not face each other when they cross each other. So a one-way route, especially in stairways and passages, need to be established by the school. Because if they are in opposite directions, someone coughs, someone sneezes, by mistake, and that the chances of an infection would be there. Okay, but if it is just one way, they're facing one direction, it would help a lot. That is one thing which I would like to stress to the authorities of the different schools, to see that there is a one-way traffic only. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. That's a valuable point, and I think all of us are taking notes, and we will forward the insights of the teachers and our resource persons and the students, of course, and we'll share it with UNDP, and hopefully we'll be able to work on this and create a safe environment for the students and teachers, of course. All right. Is there anybody else? Would anyone like to add anything else? Okay. All right. Ma'am Bari, would you like to add anything before we end the session? Hello. Okay, I think Ma'am Bari has lost connectivity again, but I'd like to thank all of you on behalf of Impulse NGO Network for being a part of the webinar and for sharing such valuable points. And I believe we'll be able to work on this, and we will try to keep all of you notified on how on what are the results of the webinar. So we'd like to request you to please follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Our official page is Impulse NGO Network, and you will receive updates on the awareness campaign and how it's going and what are the results. So I think with that, we've come to the end of the session. So you can start leaving if there's nothing else that you'd like to add. I think we can end the session now.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Hello.
you so
Hello.
much.
Yes, Ashton.
Hello, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for my last round. I was feeling very nervous. I couldn't say anything.
Oh, it's all right. Would you say anything now?
Yes, I will say something. So you asked me a question about how do
Yes.
you feel going back to school in this COVID-19, in this pandemic,
Yes.
sorry. What I feel, in my opinion, is going back to school in this pandemic is not a very good solution because the virus will spread really faster because I'm sorry, because there are so many students in our school. There are 53 boys in my class, and we sit in each bench. There are two boys who will sit together, so we'll talk to each other and all, and touch each other, hug each other. So it's not good. We have to maintain social distancing. But in my opinion, going back to school is not a good solution. Hello?
Hello. Yes. Yes. Yes, Ashton. Is there anything else you'd like to
Yes.
add?
In this pandemic, I've noticed a very bad thing. Everybody is addicted into technology now because when this pandemic was not there, boys were always into studying and all, but now everybody has gone into the social media and technology. I'm also addicted to the technology now because I play the computer every day, and my parents are getting mad. They're telling me to study and all, but so yeah, that's what I like to say.
Okay, I think it's not just you, Ashton.
Yes,
I think all of us are addicted to the smartphones and the internet. There's so much out there,
yes,
so much good and bad.
yes. In this pandemic,
Yes,
yes,
yes.
there are the good things and the bad things in this pandemic.
You don't have to be nervous. You were doing great. You gave some valuable points, and I think we can use that. We can work with your teachers, and we can work with other departments, and we will put forward your points. Yeah, and we're going to work on that. And are you on social media? Are you on Facebook?
Yes, yes.
Yes. So what you can do is you can go to our page, which is Impulse NGO Network, and
Okay.
have various competitions running. Did you hear about that?
Yes, yes,
Yes,
yes. I didn't
yes.
hear anything because my internet was breaking and all in the
Right.
middle of the
So we
evening.
have competitions. We have a series of competitions running. So I'd like you to go to our page, and find out what you can, how you can take part. And I'd love for you to be a part of the contest. Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Yes. All right. Okay.
Yes,
Okay. Thank you so much, Ashton. So we were actually
yes. Thank
uh,
you.
closing the session, but thank you for coming back. And even when you were nervous, thank you for coming back and sharing with us. You were lovely. So I think with that, we're going to end the session. And yeah. All right, Ashton.
Yes, okay. Bye. Thank you
Oh,
so
all
much.
right. Bye. Thank you. All right. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you.